Hi, hello. We're live. Welcome to the Modology Motorsports podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. I'm Blake.
Then I'm back and I'm Marcus.
And Marcus is back. And Marcus, it's good to have you back, buddy. I've missed you.
I missed you too, buddy.
It was just not the same last time without somebody to talk to. I felt like I was just sitting here, just talking into the abyss with, just to myself. I mean, the chat was helpful. There were some people in chat talking, but it wasn't the same without you, buddy.
True, but these things happen.
And you were on
I tried my
assignment.
best. I was on an assignment.
Well, I've sent you a bunch of text messages and Facebook messages that it's just been, I'm finishing my third week of overtime at work. So 3 straight weeks of overtime. But
Good times.
Yeah, no, it's not good times.
Well, it is when it hits the bank.
yeah, that's true. It's a little different on Fridays, but during the week it's pretty terrible. But I did manage the Toyota. I've had problems with the brake. This last episode, or maybe the episode before it, because it did it and then it stopped. And
Yeah.
I took the caliper apart and kind of pried the piston back in, and then it worked fine for a month or so. Well, since the last episode, it started making this horrible like grinding noise, and I was like, "Oh shit, what is going on?"
Yeah.
And so I looked in, through the wheel, and the rotor looked okay, and I could still see brake pad, and I was like, I don't know, it's just like binding up or something. So I'm thinking either like the caliper piston is bad, or the actual caliper, or maybe the brake line, the rubber part of the brake line is bad and it's collapsing on the inside or something. So I go to the store and I go ahead and I buy a new rotor and new pads for the car. I pull the Toyota around, take the wheel off, and then I got a video for this. I'll explain in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. I got a video for this, and as soon as I take the wheel off and look at it, one of the bolts that holds the caliper in is gone. And the caliper had just collapsed down on top of the rotor. And that's why it was grinding nonstop.
Ooh,
Yeah.
great.
So the rotor's okay, but it completely like wore out the pads. There was just a little bit of pad left on the backing plate. And of course the bolt's gone. So it's Sunday when I'm doing this. Easter Sunday, I'm out there changing the brakes on the car. The parts store near me luckily has like assorted nuts and bolts there that you can get, but they're closed.
Yeah.
So I said, let me go look at the two Hondas. Maybe there's something just similar size that'll work. So I find one that's close, and I make it work. So I got the brakes back on, and it's been fine. Oh, I was trying to push the caliper piston back in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I was having a hell of a time getting it to go, and I was so pissed off. I had to stop. I stood up. I walked around the car, and I was like, just open the damn brake fluid bleeder valve when you're pushing it. So I sat back
Rookie mistake, dude. Rookie mistake.
Yeah, so I sat back down and I cracked it so I could open it, put some pressure on it, open the valve like enough for fluid to come out, and it just mashed right back in. And I was like, oh shit.
How much time did you waste?
Well, over an hour sitting there sweating, trying to pry it back into the caliper.
Yeah. I remember when I first did my first set of brakes, and like my old man had gone through how I was supposed to do it, and I was like, yeah, I got it, I got this. And yeah, I did exactly the same thing. I was like, yeah, dick. Just sit there and it's like, why did I do this?
So I found a bolt online for it, which I could just order because I know it's the right bolt. But it's, what was it, $5 for the bolt? And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll pay $5 for one bolt. But then they wanted $10 shipping for a damn bolt.
What were they shipping it in, a golden envelope?
That's what I'm saying. So I decided I still got to put the brakes on the driver's side of the car. So I'm just going to wait until I'm taking it apart again.
Yeah.
Take that bolt off the driver's side with me, and then just match it up at the parts store. Because I'll be damned if I'm paying $15 for one bolt. That's crazy. Yeah. So, but that's
pretty mental.
What I think happened was the pads were pretty shot. So I think the caliper had come pretty far out, or the piston had come pretty far out,
Yeah.
and hung up and wouldn't go back in, and that was the problem the first time. And then when I took it apart to fix that the first time, maybe I didn't get the bolt as tight as it should have been. And then later on, it fell out because it ran fine. I mean, it was perfect until the bolt fell out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it's done. It's fixed, and now I just got to do the other side, and then everything else that's still sitting out there in the yard, half finished.
Gathering dust.
Yeah. Well, Mark.
So I was saying last time that there was a split on the alternator.
Yeah.
Well, we took the alternator completely out. I stuck it on the floor, and I was turning it by hand, and it does about 2/3 of a revolution, and then you feel the whole entire thing bind inside the casing.
Oh no!
And I'm like, I reckon that is what the smell was that I was smelling from it last time that I drove it. That it was the alternator is seizing inside the actual casing.
Oh my god!
So yeah, I'm glad I pulled it off. We also pulled off the supercharger, and in the midst of doing that, I accidentally broke a vacuum line connector off of the block somewhere. So I got to try and find where that is because I couldn't see where it went because it goes into the depths of the engine somewhere. But when I was pulling it out, I didn't realize that there was 2 vacuum hoses coming off in the same place. So I unclipped one, but like another 5 or 6 mil down below it is another one. And as I pulled it out, I sort of like caught it, and then I had a click, and then the whole entire line came with me, and I'm like, oh shit. Now I've got to find where that vacuum line connector is that I broke, and then hope that I can either replace it or fix it.
Yeah.
Because it's just stupid. Why have all of these connectors come flying around all over the place? Why isn't there some sort of like one vacuum line going into some sort of like a vacuum sort of like assist module or something like that, where it then tees off all off of that module to everywhere else? But no, they have to have some sort of like spider's nest of fucking lines going all over the place. I swear it's probably got more vacuum lines than I have hairs on my head. Actually, thinking about it is actually probably most likely with most cars, to be fair. I haven't got many hairs on my head anymore. But yeah, I mean, most of that was like fighting with that. Oh, and I found out that the wheel bearing on the front left-hand side had started to collapse. So the replacement one that I put in last time is absolute shit.
Oh no! You think was it just a bad bearing?
Yeah, it's just like a new brand new, all the rest of it, all done dusted. But no, it's dead. It's crap.
Oh, no.
You literally you can move the tire about 2 centimeters, and it just wobbles. You just watch it just wobble. I'm like, that's not good. That's just going to be so bad.
Look, when I had my bearing fiasco, I read so much stuff online about people talking about buying new bearings, putting them in, and the bearings just being bad. And I was like, oh my god, I hope not, because I did 3 in a row, both sides of the Focus and half the Toyota. Yeah. God Almighty, I was scared to death it was going to fail again when I put them in.
So I got myself a brand new hub with a new bearing in it, and I'm like, fuck this.
That's the way to go.
We end up getting fire on it. We end up sort of like grinding like part of the nut flat on the bottom of it so that we could get it out where where it dropped and hit the floor ages ago. It like rounded off or like scuffed 1/3 of the nut off on the floor, and it was awful trying to get it off. So we're like there. He's like, yes, finally coming towards the end of the day. We left the worst thing to last by the looks of it at that point. It was starting to the clouds were coming out outside, and I was like, right, well, we've got to get the Buick back in a minute, so we'll finish this off. So I think to myself, right, I'm going to put the studs onto the wheel hub, and then we'll put it onto put it all into the rest of the suspension. So I go to pull out the old studs out of the old hub,
Right.
and of course, what did I do when I put them all in there? I red Loctite them all in there so
Oh
they didn't
no.
fall out. Oh yes,
Smart though, but uh-oh.
yeah, they weren't going to fall out anytime soon. So yeah, so we ended up getting fire out on that, so heating up the hub so that we could like melt the red Loctite out of it, and yeah, it worked. It got them all out. You know, I was like sighing a good sigh of relief, and like, yep, okay, well, it shouldn't take us too long to get the hub back in. We already got the new, all of the new bits and pieces all in place. So it was just a case of bolting like 3 or 4 bolts up together, and then putting a wheel back on, and brake calipers and all the rest of it. And yeah, so I go to put the studs into the new hub, and lo and behold, they pass straight through it.
What?
Yep.
What?
So the people that gave me the hub, or the people I ordered the hub from, down the road from where I work, instead of giving me an R53 hub, they give me an R56 hub, which has slightly larger bolts
Oh
or
no.
bolt holes on there and a different thread pitch. And I'm like, I give up. So at that point, I've got a Mini with 3 wheels on it. It's starting to spit outside. The Buick's outside, and I don't want to get that wet. You know, all of the windows down on it. You know, it's a pig to start when it's cold, so it's starting to get colder, and I'm like, fuck. So what do? We scrabble, put the old hub back on so that I can push the Mini back into the fucking corner of the garage again, and then spend the next 5 minutes trying to get the flipping Buick to start, and then almost reverse the flipping thing into the
Oh no.
into one of the little bench vices that sticks out on the side. I was like, do you know what? I've had enough, and I haven't had any sort of time to do anything much on the Mini after that. So really, at that point, I was like, well, do you know what? Fuck it for the moment. I've had enough. We're in the middle of trying to sell the Buick. I'm just going to try and wait out and see whether or not we can sell the Buick. And then I've got the whole entire garage, move the Mini into the middle, and then I can literally walk all the way around it instead of having to crawl through the Buick to get to my Mini from the door of my garage.
There you go. That's the spirit.
Yeah. So, it's slightly annoying, but at the same time, you know, shit happens. I can understand people get things wrong, boxes get mislabeled. People look at an R53 or an R56 like label, and you know they don't see the extra differences in the numbers. Shit happens, but
They said it says mini. It's all the same thing.
apparently so. But you know, at the end of the day, there's muggins here. Like after working on the Mini for ages and breaking something on the inside of it and getting annoyed with that, finally managing to get some bits and pieces off of it, and then finding right at the end of it that the stupid wheel hub was the wrong one. I'm like, I just chucked it in the box, stuck everything in the corner, and then I walked upstairs and just like sat down. I was like, I'm having dinner and I'm going to bed.
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
I was almost at
So
that point with the brakes that day.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just leave it in the front yard. I'll just never drive it again.
I'll need in the front yard.
Have another one sitting in the yard.
Turn it into a flower feature or something like that.
Right.
You know, cultivate some moss.
Yeah. Grow it in the trunk.
Yeah, make a little rock garden, like a Japanese peace garden in it, with like tiny little shale rocks or something.
Yeah, some sand, a little sand garden or something with a little rake.
Yeah, draw some little circles in it and stick a little fountain to go out in the middle of it or something like that.
That'd be nice. That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I felt like doing to the Mini. I felt like just turning it into a large, I don't know, large water feature, or just like rolling it down the hill and then watching it smash into something and then
into 6B.
claiming it back on the insurance. Yeah, smash it into 6B.
There you go.
Fuck 6B.
Yeah, fuck 6B.
And yeah, so that's it for the Mini. We sold the van.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. The van is gone for considerably less than what we wanted to, but it was we worked it out that we were losing about £50 a month just for having it with us, and not actually using it, and for the fact that if we did use it, we would more than likely end up wearing something else out, and then that would break, and then we would end up spending more money on it, and then it was just winding us up. So we were like, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to get rid of it. So we got shot of it. It is gone. We have nothing to worry about on that anymore. Um, um, and did I tell you about the Peugeot?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So basically, I was driving along, and it was getting quite. It'd been getting cold for a little while, and it started to get foggy. And on one of my journeys, the battery light came on. I was like, "Oh shit! I know
Uh-oh.
it's got a brand spanking new battery, so it's got to be the alternator." So
Uh-oh.
yeah, so there's me. I drove it to work for another month, and every now and then the battery light would come on if I was driving for too long, and it would say, it'd moan at me. I'm like, fine, okay. So it got to the point where I was charging it every day. Um, when I got home, I would stick it on charge so that I could drive it the next day, and then drive back home, stick it on charge, blah blah blah. And it got foggy one morning, and I was like, right, well, I've got to start it up. So I started it up, turned the lights on, driving down the road, and I could smell like a burning smell, and I could hear like something like a bearing going. So
Oh
I was
no.
saying that there was a bearing going in the Peugeot, and you could feel like a little bit of like a drag on the engine when you were going along.
Right.
It wasn't a wheel bearing. It's actually the alternator.
Uh-oh. On the Peugeot too?
Yeah, on the Peugeot, yeah.
Oh man, this Europe's hard on
So
the alternators apparently.
apparently, but yeah. So I after that day, I drove it back home, and then I parked it up outside our house, and at the moment it's just like slowly disintegrating in front of my house at the moment. So we're probably going to end up taking it to scrapyard because the brakes are shot, the alternator's shot. Um, I think it's due its MOT soon. The what else was wrong with it? The steering rack was going bad. Um, yeah, it's a laundry list of issues that were going to be causing us more than what the car's worth. So we're just going to dump it down the dump, and you know trash it, get rid of it, turn it into a small cube, something like that,
There you go.
and then go from there. So that's that on that side of things. The Yaris is doing fine. It went from Scotland to back in a couple of days.
Nice.
So it did like what 800-mile round trip on to Scotland and back. Um, Whilst I was sat at home, um, recovering from an operation, and then also my old man put in the Caterham to get the service done for the supercharger. So the supercharger oil's been renewed in it. It's had a full service by Caterham, and whilst they were there, my old man decided that he was going to push to make sure that they got the uh, there was like a wobble once you got up to about 120 mile an hour. The you could feel like a wobble going on, and it was slowly getting worse and worse. So you got them to look at what was going on, and it turns out that the wobble was being caused by the universal joint going from the back of the gearbox to the diff. So the shaft, the front part of the shaft, one of the universal joints basically was starting to have play in it, which is then causing a sort of the actual shaft itself to be slightly off center, and was then making it wobble. So, approaching, 120 mile an hour or something like that, it was getting a bit scary.
Yeah, I was about to say this. I was about to say, who would notice at 120 miles an hour? But then I was thinking, well, hell, at 120 miles an hour, that's a real bad time to have a wobble.
Yeah, exactly.
For anything to be out of the ordinary.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not been particularly fun time at the moment with all of the things going on. And yeah, so they got that all fixed, and my old man was like, well, what have you done to it? And they were like, well, we fixed it. And he's like, well, did you test it? And they were like, well, no. And he was like, well, I want you to test it. And they were like, how would we do that? And he was like, stick it on a rolling road and roll it up to 120 mile an hour. And they were like, oh yeah.
Don't you have a parking lot?
Yeah, be interesting to try and get up to 120 in a parking lot.
Right.
That'd be fairly big, I assume. But I mean, I can't even remember what to 0 to 100 is on the Caterham. But either way, you'd have to have some fair stopping distance anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for cars at the moment. I'm still looking at possibly getting another car soon, but I've been borrowing my dad's old Suzuki Swift.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's like that's his driving school car that he used to use. Actually, no, I don't think it is a Swift. It's I can't remember. It's some little Suzuki thing. It's got 3 cylinders and a tiny little turbo that you could probably, stick on top of your gear stick and use as a gear knob.
And it's a hatchback.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah, of course, everything's a hatchback here.
Everything's a hatchback there.
Yep. Oh, the ultimate in UK vehicles is a hatchback. Apparently.
Right.
I
believe it.
I think most vehicles in England are hatchbacks.
Well, Marcus, that's everything you got. I got a news story picked out for us, but there is also a for real news story about Modology, and if you don't care, I'd like to do it first before we go to the other news story, because I was pretty excited about this.
Oh, you carry on.
All right, let me move it over here to the screen. Let's see. This is right out of our show notes. I don't know how well this will show up, but we made a local online newspaper in my area.
Yeah.
It's called Real Fast News. Let me here, I'll read it to you, and I'll read it for everybody that's listening to the audio version of the podcast. It says, you've seen it on TV's most daring and most shocking, and you've probably seen a few of these clips in other cities and countries on YouTube. But here's a series of local and entertaining dash cam videos with graphical cues and sound effects showing all kinds of non-top, careless, reckless, distracted, or aggressive drivers annex around Rome and across Floyd. The local video producer, Modology Motorsports, has announced Part 5 coming soon, so check out or subscribe to his YouTube channel for updates. And he put in the YouTube channel link, and he linked to each one of the videos individually. And it did pretty good. We went from, 240 subs to we're over 300 now?
It's spiked really nicely. I mean, we're at 306.
Yeah, and I think it was 240 when you put it up, or 246 or something like that.
Yeah, I think we're in our 200s at that point. So I'm thinking our 500 goal for this year, is looking pretty good, to be perfectly honest.
Oh yeah. And I mean, there were people on there that had their little comments that had to be made, but the guy that seemed to run the news website just stayed on top of it. So, because one lady was like, well, "These clips are boring" or something like that, and he called her a stick in the mud or something like that. So I was like, well, he's got it under control. I'm just not going to say anything. I'll just let him do whatever.
Didn't one person sort of suggest that maybe you should cut the clip shorter and make it sort of to the point? And then thinking about it, what I remember, wasn't there one person that messaged on one of the videos saying, "Oh, your clips are too short. You should make them longer. Give them some context."
Yeah,
I'm like, hang on a minute. It's like, who wants what?
Right. Yeah, it was the teaser video for the 18-wheeler dash cam videos. It was the teaser. It's supposed to be short. You're not supposed to see everything. And he said, you need to
I
make the
think that's
clips
what got
longer.
me.
Like,
Yeah.
oh
And then
my
someone
God.
criticised your driving.
Oh, yeah. He could use a couple driving lessons himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Keyboard warriors, all of them.
Yeah. I decided the only way to fix this is just for me to have my own road that nobody else is allowed to drive on. And then everything would be fine.
Oh yeah,
But
perfect.
but until then, there'll be dash cam 7 or 6 before too much longer, so
Is it going really well at the moment?
I've got a lot of clips already. I've already put the new camera in my car. I was the last holdout. I took and put the new camera in the wife's car first. Then I had one for the giveaway, and then I finally bought one for myself because I was like, all right, this has been in the paper. I need a better dash cam than what I got.
Mm.
So finally put one in my car, and then I've probably saved 10 to 12 clips already in the last month.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising. Number 6 will be out. Give me another month or two, and number 6 will be ready to go.
Yeah, I must admit, every time you seem to put a video for the dash cams on, I see the minutes viewed smash up. Like you can see spikes,
Oh yeah,
and so I can always tell when you've placed one of those in.
yeah. I
But
think
yeah,
the day that he shared the links to, or actually put it in his online paper, it did really good that day too.
yeah, I think we went over 100 and something odd thousand views in one, or 100,000 minutes viewed in like one day. It was flipping ridiculous,
Yeah, it was. All right.
but it was good to see.
Yes, it
It was
was.
good to see.
Well, moving on to the real news. I thought I've always been kind of a fan by proxy of the Z car, the Nissan
Mm,
Z cars,
yeah.
and well, there's a 2020 Nissan 370Z 50th anniversary edition that was unveiled in New York at one of the auto shows. And before I show everybody the pictures of this, by 2020, I'd heard rumors on different like auto blogs and stuff like that that the Nissan like 390Z was supposed to have been, you know, underway. It was going to be released 2020. Well, apparently not. So I'm going to show everybody this 2020. This is the 50th anniversary edition of the 370Z, or just the Z car in general. So I told Marcus before the before the show we were looking at this, and I said it looks like something I would have made in like Need for Speed or something. The white car with a red hood and the red hatch. Where's the hatch? There we go, with a red hatch on the back.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. In the article, it doesn't really say if it's got any like different performance features or if this is just what you're getting. I mean, the wheels are nice. I mean, I could probably do out the stripes on the. I don't know. It's got the very top of it still white,
Mm.
but then it's got the red over the hood, up the little like sides on the door, and then down the hatch on the back.
I think what it feels to me is like the designers turned around and like sat there and thought, what should we do? And they're like, I know, we'll put a red stripe on it.
That means
And they were
fast.
like, yeah. And they were like, maybe we don't put just a stripe on it. Maybe we should color the bonnet red. And they were like, why don't we just follow it over to the rear? And they were like, great idea, you have nailed it. And then some guy turned around and was like, 50th anniversary edition. Let's stick a sticker on the side. Nailed it. Everybody give him a pay rise.
That or somebody said, we got all these damn red hatches and all these red hoods here and all these white 370s. What the hell are we going to do with all this shit?
Boom.
Anniversary edition.
Boom. There you go. Straight out of the mind of a genius onto the paper of a moron and into the arms of the adoring public.
It does look just a little bit in the front, like the front bumper may be just a little different. It's hard to tell though, because it seems I don't know.
They all look fairly similar these days with those anyway. unless they actually point out some actual tech specs or anything like that, then I'm not really going to get too excited.
Yeah, I think in this article it was just. Let me look and see. I think it was just the picture. It is just the pictures of it, and that's it. Yep,
Just the picture.
just the pictures.
Well, I expect it's probably just exactly the same. There's nothing different about it. It's just got a different sticker on the side.
Right. She's got a
Mm,
different badge on the back. Says anniversary edition. And that's just about it.
yeah, I still think it would look better in black with that red,
Yeah, yeah, I think so too.
or maybe purple.
Or purple.
Purple instead of the red, but still black.
Right. Well, that's yeah, sure.
I know you'd be down for that.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds good to me. Well, Marcus, this week ran kind of short, and we didn't have a lot that we did because of, well, at least that I didn't do because of all this overtime. I got a lot of work done, but I just didn't get a lot of work done on the cars. Let's go over the
Yeah.
let's go over the top videos, the top 5 videos for the last month since the last time.
What about also like I was talking to you about Adam LZ, wasn't I?
Oh yeah, yeah, almost forgot. Almost forgot. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So obviously Adam LZ went into Pro 2 for Formula Drift, and he, I really, really wanted him to do well, and he went into the Orlando one, I think it was, but unfortunately, he didn't manage to make it into the top 16.
Right.
So he didn't sort of qualify essentially. So I mean, I've not really watched any Formula Drift before, so it's sort of like it's fairly new to me. So I'm assuming what he'll be able to do that at the next event maybe, and then see whether or not he then makes it and then goes into the next event and goes from there. But I mean, he's plowed so much effort into that car,
Right. Yeah.
and so much sort of like time and effort into getting it to that point where he would be able to pay for these sorts of things. And he got himself a new rig and all the rest of it, which looks absolutely awesome. I was so jealous watching it, just looking at it. It's like got a motorhome where the sides like come out and sort of like expand and then sort of like make into like a, I don't know, like a four berth caravan. I think essentially it turns into the rig itself, and then you've got the back of it where you can fit 2 cars, and it's got a workshop in there, and then it's just mind blowing. I would love to have something that big that I could like just stick my cars in and go to a show.
Right.
Yeah, I would love it, but I think you can fit 3 cars in the trailer of that thing. It is ridiculous. You need to see that video. If we had something like that, I would just be like, I don't know. I would be ecstatic.
Have the Civic in it, the Mini, and something else.
Atrium.
Yeah, the Caterham. There we go. We could cover a lot of stuff on track day that way.
Yeah. Hey, I wonder how the Caterham would do for drifting. It's rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
Sequential gearbox.
Yeah. See. A
Yeah.
video in the future. Will it drift with Marcus and the Caterham?
My dad would kill me. God knows what we'd be able to do then. I mean, I don't even know if it's anywhere near set up to be able to do that. I mean, I don't even think that the front suspension would cope with it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, you've got to have some serious angle. I mean, you don't need to worry about any wheel arches because the wheel arches move with the actual wheels. So
yeah. And I guess we should mention that if you don't know who Adam LZ is, I found his channel, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago? Was I watching his videos when we first started talking?
yeah, because you introduced him to me.
Yeah, and he's this dude from Florida, and he did a lot of BMX videos on YouTube when he was younger. And he had took some of that money that he got from that and bought like a BMW, and then he still has that car, like the first car he ever bought, he still owns.
Mm.
And then he got like into cars and drifting, and it's just I've kind of watched his career from just owning the BMW up till he bought it's a S13 240 SX. He's painted like this cream color, and he started out like drifting it, and then at the time he bought his wife a drift car, and then bought another drift car, and it just kept going and going and going. He bought a couple different ones, a 350Z to drift, and a
Yeah,
Skyline to
yeah,
drift, and
yeah. So he got Drift Missile, hasn't he?
yeah,
Drift Missile's 350.
yeah. He's bought all kinds of cars, but then I mean, he's ended up buying a bigger shop, but he's got over like 2 million subscribers, I think.
Yeah.
So he's got like brand deals, but it's just cool to watch his channel just continue to grow. And I remember at one time everybody was on his ass about, well, are you going to get into Formula D or not? And I guess he is finally.
I think what gets on my nerves is that everyone was on his ass saying you need to get into Formula D, and then when he did, instead of going into like Pro Am, he went straight to like
Pro
what
2.
was it, Pro 2, and then everyone went fucking mental. I'm like, well, seriously, this dude has drifted over multiple continents, placed in God knows how many sort of like local events and abroad, and now they're trying to turn him into some sort of like joke because they suddenly feel that he's not worth the time to do it. And I'm like, he's people are, winding me up about this shit, and I'm like, I just don't understand, how they could just be such a dick about it.
Yeah, I mean, you figure all the cars he's paid for. And,
Yeah,
he's paid for all his own cars up until, well, even like the S15. He bought it from somebody and then pretty much dropped it off at Injuku and told them, build me a drift car. And he had like it, because it had to be built for spec for
yeah,
Formula D.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can't blame the guy. I mean, he's seriously put some time and effort into getting himself to this point. And, he did say that, I think, what did he say? He said that this year's sort of Formula Drift is just going to be him sort of, easing himself into it, as it were. And that, next year he's going to go all out and get it all sorted. So I mean, at the moment, it's all new. I mean, the pressure is all new. It's different. There's a lot more seriousness about it rather than just going out there and just messing around with your mates and
Right.
doing some door taps and stuff like that. And before I met you, I wouldn't have said I would have paid any attention to it, but then you pointed him out to me, and I've sort of grown to really appreciate his view on things, and he seems like a really legit guy. I mean, I can't say that I've seen any videos of his that have rubbed me up the wrong way. I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that he does that is a bit more jokey than I would normally like, but then I'm a little bit more serious with these sort of things. And I just get annoyed that all of these people are sort of ragging on him and wishing that he's going to fail at something. Admittedly, they might be laughing at him now because he didn't place in the first event that he went to. But how many racing drivers and people that just started out in their first professional season, how many do you know that won or placed in their first professional event?
Exactly.
I mean, you've got so much going on. You've got a new team, you've got all of these things going on, and all of this extra stress, and then you have to then go out there and perform. It's ridiculous. I don't understand what people are getting on about. So, Adam, if you're out there, seriously, come on the show. We'll have a chat. I'd love to have you on the show. It'd be brilliant.
We'll slap a Modology sticker on that car.
Hell yeah, slap a Modology sticker on the back of your car. I'd love to have you over in England, and you can show some of the people in England how to drift. Teach me how to drift. Come to England, teach me how to drift in the Caterham.
Right. Definitely. Me too. I don't know in what, but something. Bring a car. I'm just a couple states away, or a state away. You got that big trailer.
You're not that far away. Yeah, got a big trailer. You haven't got a
Oh,
rear-wheel drive car there, have you?
no, it's all front wheel here. It's the front wheel house.
Ooh.
I like my
All
sideways
one-wheel
engines.
peeling as well.
Yeah,
One-wheel peelers.
that's it. All right. Well, let's wrap up with or let's do the what you call it, the
Our
top 5 videos.
top 5 videos. Yep, so the top 5 videos. So at number 5,
Number 5.
the Honda Civic Brake Master cylinder at 5,314
All right.
minutes viewed.
Still hanging in there. Still in the top 5.
Yep. In number 4, the Ford Focus radiator replacement. So that seems to be dropping. I think
Yeah.
we were right last time that the market's been saturated. So we've got to wait another couple of years now until all of the radiators break again, or at least until winter.
Yeah. Yeah. When the weather gets summertime and then wintertime, it'll move back up.
Yep, so beating the Ford Focus radiator is the Ford Focus belt tensioner and pulley replacement.
Right.
That is coming in at 6,345 minutes viewed.
All right.
And so, I mean, that's doing pretty well. I think obviously a lot of people appreciate that. Next one up on there is the Ford Focus door handle replacement. I see a theme at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's having a lot of issues with Ford Focuses, I think.
I'll say.
But still holding strong, and I think is possibly for almost half a year now. I think the Honda Accord cylinder head removal video at 24,579 minutes viewed in the last 28 days. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
That stays steady. It stays steady at over 20,000 minutes for so long now.
Yeah,
That's wild.
it's ridiculous. But I'm just loving, in general, our view count has just been going really well, and the nice little spikes here and there, but the consistent climb has been really good. So all I want to do is just say thank you to you guys that are watching our videos, or Blake's videos at the moment. And we'll be going through and hopefully getting a few more and getting it all sorted.
Absolutely. I'm hoping this overtime is about to be over. We're about to hit the heart of the summer, and I don't want to be in that place from sun up to sundown. I want to be able to mess with the car. I bought that nice canopy to work on the Accord and still haven't messed with it. So I'm ready to work on the car some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Make some new videos.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting some time in this summer to get some sort of content pushed out. Even if it's not me working on the Mini, then it might be me doing some racing or just doing something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, Marcus, that's all I've got for this episode. What about you, buddy?
I'm pretty much done. I can't think of anything else that that we can really chat about at the moment. I just want to apologise that I haven't been around for a little while. I mean, Blake's been leaving me messages and stuff like that, so I've just been really busy doing stuff. So it's all fun and games at the moment.
Oh yeah, everything will get straightened out eventually. It's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Between your
all right, guys.
Between your assignments and my overtime, we'll get it straightened out.
Indeed.
All right, everybody. All of our social media information is on our website, and it's right here, right in front of your face. Join the Facebook group. Some good stuff happening there all the time. I scour all of Facebook for the best car videos I can find and steal them and then share them in the group. So join for some of that. The Instagram and the Twitter are there. If you've got something for me, I'm at Hesser414 on Twitter.
And I'm at Brunt_Marcus.
And if you've got something for the show, it's Modology Motorsports at gmail.com. And me and Marcus are out, and we'll see you next time, everybody.
Take it easy, guys.